This is a short story, My Real Papa Noel, by Geno J. Jacob, 2020. The night was cold in December. I slept with Granny's thick woolen sweater over my pajamas. Granny said the fwedi, or the cold winds, came from America and the North Pole. I've always dreamt of America and imagined the North Pole, especially during Christmas. The trees covered with snow and the mountains blanketed with ice. In the North Pole, that's where Santa lives, Granny said. Papa Noel and his reindeer Rudolph, which looks like a little giant goat. I have seen them in the magazines my father would sometimes send to cover the barrels of groceries and clothes. My papa was in America. I have never seen him, ever. Granny told me he left when I was 1 year old. He was heartbroken after my mom died, giving birth to me. I was left in my grandmother's care, and my father would support me as he could. I carried his picture with me in my school bag. He was tall, handsome, and dark, with short locks on his head. I would kiss his picture, and I would smile. Granny said he could not come to see us because he was waiting on his American green card. She said it was a sacrifice he was forced to make. He would call us on the phone, and I always welcomed his deep, caring voice. We lived with Granny's boyfriend, Mr. Gabaz. She met him after Hurricane Maria, which had destroyed our wooden house. Granny quarreled with the parrot, and he was slow in helping her, so we moved in with him for a little suku, a little rescue. I didn't like Mr. Gabaz. He was always drunk, and he loved to beat Chocho. Chocho was my friend, though she was a pig. She understood everything I told her. When I brought the leftovers from the kitchen, that piglet was just about a month old and was excited when Granny bought her. I loved her, and I named her Chocho. Chocho! Oh, Chocho! I would call whenever I approached the tree and the mud where she was tied. She would answer. I could clean her trough and pour her her new food. She ate a lot, so I would cut open some dry coconuts for a snack. After she was done, I would scratch her belly. She would lie on her back and grunt softly as I scratched. Mado! Mado! Mr. Gaba said to Granny one day. Conscienza unila, that fat pig you have there, I killing it for Christmas. No, Granny, I pleaded. Don't let Mr. Gaba kill Chocho. Please, Granny, Chocho is my friend. I have no brother or sister to play with, and I raised her from small. Don't let Mr. Gabas kill my pig. But there was nothing she could do or say to change his mind. He chatted all the week about black pudding and stewed pork, and that meat was already sold even before he killed the pig. Chocho is a big pig now, Granny said. It takes up a lot of your time. You have to study your schoolwork. I just do my homework while Chocho eating me, I replied. Granny did not answer, but started singing. One day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking of you. She was stressed by Mr. Gaba, who always comes home late in a drunken stupor. I'll give you room in your house, she answered him during one quarrel. Do what you want, Mado, he shouted. I already asked the Haitian farmer for $50 chive to make the black pudding, and have a piece of dashing and 2 mounds of ladies' yam to eat my stew pork. I was sad. I must save Chocho. Oh, I know, I said to myself while coming from school one day. I will get Chocho a boyfriend. Our neighbor, Mr. Samuel, had a boar. It was huge, so Mr. Samuel named him Goliath. Mr. Samuel disliked Mr. Gabaz, whom he accused of stealing his dashing plants. Mr. Samuel, I called to him, holding a bucket of pig food in my hands. Can I bring Chocho for Goliath? What do you mean? He quickly replied. To see Goliath? No, to be Goliath's girlfriend, sir, I answered. Goliath's girlfriend? Mr. Samuel laughed. No. Goliath's girlfriend? Mr. Samuel laughed, beating his cutlass against the black rubber boots. Yes, sir, I said. When she make little ones, I will give you a meal. All right, Mr. Samuel mused. You're striking a good bargain for a boy 10 years old. Thank you, sir, I said with joy. Can I bring her today? Ah, she's not ready yet, he said. I'll observe her and I'll tell you when to bring her. 2 weeks later, Mr. Samuel allowed me to bring Cho-Cho to meet Goliath. I stood there while they kissed and jumped on each other's back. That's it, Mr. Samuel laughed. Now they are girlfriend and boyfriend. As the months drew closer to Christmas, Cho-Cho's belly grew bigger and her breasts were full. Madol, oi, Mr. Gaba said one day in October. Who serve cochon a plein? You know the pig full? You know the pig preggy? I don't know nothing about pig, she answered. You don't know about pig? All right. But I suspect it's Samuel, the boo, the bastard, the rapist pig Goliath that escaped and commit that crime. Now I cannot kill the pig. I cannot kill my pig. All the while I say this fat, the pig fat. I laughed. I laughed and I laughed. Cho-Cho had won. A week before Christmas, farmers were bringing their animals home for slaughter. At night we heard the last squeals of pigs and the dying moans of cows and the resistance of goats to the butcher's knife. The air smelled of burning animal hooves and skins, and the blowing of conch shells announced the early sale of Christmas meat. Cho-Cho gave birth to 10 piglets, but Mr. Samuel had slaughtered Goliath. He needed the money to replant his farm after the hurricane. He could replace the boar with a piglet. I would give him. Some neighbors paid Granny in advance for 7 piglets. I decided to keep one of Cho-Cho's sons. 2 days before Christmas, Granny bathed me in some soursop leaves. She said it would make me sleep soundly. Put your socks by your head, she said, and leave the windows open. Papa Noel will bring you a gift in the night. I woke about 5 o'clock in the morning. I rolled over on a spread of old worn clothes, which was my bed, my cabin, just comfortable. I felt a cold object beside me. It was a new bicycle. I turned and I saw a dark, tall figure standing in the lamplight. I couldn't see clearly. Good morning, the deep, caring voice said. Merry Christmas, Johnny. But that's not Santa Claus. He was the image of the picture I kept in my school bag. Papa! Daddy! I shouted with joy. He hugged me with his strong arms. Granny stood there smiling. She never told me that I would see my real Papa Noel for Christmas. She never told me. Thank you, Papa. Thank you, Papa. Thank you, Cho-Cho. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, God. A short story written by Jeno J. Jacob. My Real Papa Noel. I was your presenter, Franklin Peter Moses.